Okay, let's talk about how to get the data points and the build out the journey map for this B2C SaaS app Distill, where customers are finding out about a need using the app, and they on the free tier they may go to the paid tier and so on. So at the highest level, the simplest abstraction is at some point they decide they have a job to be done. So JTBD, they have a job to be done, which is equal to tracking websites. And now at some point they decide, let's skip forward a few levels so that we can start with the very high level and then add more layers to this. They install Once they install, they are on the free level. At some point they use the app to do the tasks, so which is creating a monitor, or that's like doing the core task of the app. At some other point they may decide that they want to upgrade to paid, and or they may churn from the app. This could be either due to inactivity, or they have found some issues and that's why they have clicked on I want to stop using this app. That's the churn. Now let's dive in one more level deeper into this and add more nodes to this journey map. So the lowermost is outside of our tracking visibility. If our y axis is tracking, where at the top we have more tracking, at the bottom we have less tracking, then we have no tracking on when they realize that they have a need for this task. But after that, there were two ways for them to reach us. How do I find this out? I can look at Google Analytics or Google Search Console. Google Analytics tells me that 80% of the times, how are people coming to our website? I don't know. But Google Analytics tells me that 15, I guess not 80%, but in like 60-70%. And then some percent of times I know that they are searching for something on Google, Bing, or one or DuckDuckGo, and they are reaching us. So I'll call one box as search, and sometimes they are coming from Facebook, Reddit. So sometimes they are being referred to us by somebody. So there are these two ways for them to land. And let's also realize that before installing, they may land on our page and decide whether they want to install. So I get this information from Google Analytics. The left side, what do they search for? I get from Google Search Console, and I can add more information to it using Ahrefs, which can tell me backlinks or keywords and compare it with maybe other websites, where because these users can also satisfy their needs, the jobs that they want to do. Now they have landed on our page, but this is where I realize, looking at our own internal product analytics, that they usually don't land to our home page, they land to a support documentation page. So and that tells me that, and then that means that they are somehow landing to a very specific page. But that is not what the search results highlight. So this discrepancy from internal expertise tells me that they don't really come to the landing page from search or from the references, but they actually go to the Chrome extension store, or think of it as Android App Store or iOS App Store, Play Store, all of these where they are first landing instead of the developer's website. They land there, they may choose to install, and at that point, so think we have more visibility once they come to the Chrome extension page, because Google Developer Dashboard gives us some information: how many people viewed your extension, how many installed, how many uninstalled. And after that, if once they install, we drive them to a post install landing page. They came to our post install landing page, and that's where they might be able to read more about our website, and they may decide they want to create an account on our website, which may not be required if it's a Chrome extension or an Android app or iOS app. And it's so there's another step, which is creating an account. Now, looking at the further data, I'll be able to see how many of people create an account on the first day versus later. How many users go and create monitors or perform their core tasks before they create an account. So that will tell me the directionality or the percentage. And maybe I realize that it's irrelevant. 99% users don't create an account. Either way, after they do monitors or tasks, the other thing that our product analytics using, let's say, Metabase or Looker or Tableau would tell me is how many of them face errors. and so I will use that, and I will also be able to segregate this to what kind of things are they doing, what kind of tasks are they doing, which is leading to errors for them, and what do they do when they get errors. So this may go to our support documentation, or they may do Google searches. If it's Google searches, I have less visibility. If they come to our documentation, we have more visibility. If they're clicking on some kind of support links in our app, we have great visibility in seeing that when they face this error, this is what they click. Whether they get errors or whether they get notifications of success, either of these will lead to emails to them. So when they receive emails, we can again track how many of them receive emails, how often do they open it, do they go back to old emails, and do they click on anything there. Maybe we realize that there seems to be a good open rate but no click. That one reason for it could be that we have all the information in the email. The second could be that it's useless and they need to go to our app. Now, differentiating between this will require customer interviews or reviewing support tickets or forum posts. So I reviewed forum posts to understand what do people do when they face errors. Some of them posted on forums as well. And sometimes from the forums, they were redirected to documentation. Uh, and how many percentage of users went from creating tasks to becoming paid, and at what time? Is there some kind of task that they do that makes them more likely to upgrade, and so on? Similarly, at what point do they decide to churn? That again, I can use our internal product analytics to decide, but the why, I'll be able to find out using customer interviews. And the customer interviews might tell me it's because I faced errors that I churned, which means there'll be another line from churn, from the errors to the churn. Or when they receive notifications, they realize I get false positives. So from maybe the notifications, they go to churn. So interviewing customers would help us understand the connection between these nodes. Now let's take a look at the same thing in the drawing. Users need web monitoring is something that we cannot see from outside. And the data told me from Google Analytics is that 60% of the traffic hit from unknown sources, 15% from social media, which means they were referred. Somebody goes and says, hey, I want to do X. And somebody says, hey, the way I did this was using this solution. Why don't you do that? Or they searched for a bunch of keywords, and this is where SEO analysis comes in handy using Ahrefs or other tools. And then maybe you use SEO Surfer to write your blogs and upload, so that through content marketing you're getting a wider coverage for keywords, wider and more in depth. They install the extension or the app, and they may land to our landing page post install. Now, since they have come from the Chrome store or Apple store to our website, now we have more tracking. They create monitors. We have talked about a bunch of these, so I'm just walking through them, and you can see the data points. So for example, how many percentage users create monitors before account versus on the same day as the account, which is why I created two parallel lines, because it's not sequential. It's not that they create a user account only after that they create a monitor, but it may also be the other way around. And it's so close to each other that I've created parallel lines to also show two different directions. The same user can do node F and or node G, and then go to node H or I, or go to node J or L. So either directions are possible for users. They may change their notifications. They may they may get notifications of change, or they may get error notifications. And I see that 50% users have no activity after some point, which means that this tells me even they may have not come back to churn or delete their account. They have stopped using it, free users. And if they upgrade, at some percentage of users go premium, some percentage of them churn after a point. So this journey gives me the different data points. Now looking at this, I can see where are the biggest drop-offs in through which journey, and what do I want to focus on if I want to grow the revenue of this product. So some of it could be around, if I can compare the number of users coming to my website versus some other websites using similar web, then I can get a sense of whether it's the top of funnel content, or whether there needs to be a different social media presence, so it's easier for users to refer me my product to other users. Or maybe I realize that there are very few users who are upgrading. So when they create a free account, let's assume they get good value on the free account, but they're not realizing the additional value that's relevant for them when they upgrade. So this can mean some kind of drip email campaign. After they upgrade, if 80% are churning within some time frame, what kind of benefits are they not using? Or what kind of use cases are one time? This segment A of users come, they need your app for 1 week and they're done. Because what segment of users, segment B comes, and their usage is such that they use it every week or every month, so they're active for a long time. So segregating those use cases and making it easier for the segment B to continue finding our app and upgrading and staying retaining on our app. That covers the customer journey here that we want to talk about. So we talked about how we got some of the data points. I didn't really, in when I was drawing the diagram, I talked a bit about customer interviews, forums, and support tickets. I didn't really go into depth here. I also, the other data point is we talked about Chrome Store. Chrome Store or Apple Store, any of these marketplaces also gives you thousands of user reviews, which also you can analyze, aggregate on an aggregate level to understand what might be causing users to stay on your app or leave your app.